The following is a hypothetical interview between myself, a hypothetical human services professional, and my friend Alex, who is
a hypothetical client.
all right. Without further ado, we shall move into the hypothetical scenario. Hi, Alex.
Hi,
Great to
Bart.
see you again. Bam. Well, it's been a couple weeks since last time you've been here, and just tell me, how have things been going for you? What's been going on in your life?
Well, I've been working with my mother to find a way to become more involved in the art community, so that's a good thing. And it's just come about within the last week, so it hasn't been too long, but I've been trying to get this studio space ready for working in.
So you have a new studio space.
Yeah, that's public.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, tell me more about the new studio.
Well, it's in a warehouse area where there are a lot of other artists, and there's events that have people coming around and enjoying themselves and talking with the artists in their studios. And so obviously that's a good thing.
Well, it's wonderful, and this means you and your mom are getting along in much better ways now.
Well, my mother has been very positive about me pursuing my art on the one hand, but it's been difficult to make it work in life. And so because she does need things, and then it's just everything is so expensive, and so it's a scary risk to do this.
I'm getting the feeling that this is a way that you and your mom can both do the caregiving role that you provide for her and the artistic, we talked about it last session, wanting to get your art out into public and being part of community. Is that?
Yeah, it does expand our relationship into this other thing, so that we don't always talk about what's wrong with her.
Oh, that's a big.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Now let me ask you this. If you could visualize how your life would be if it were without problems right now, tell me the things that you would have in your life.
I really don't know, because I just have such a struggle inside of myself. I can't maintain a train of thought that I could follow as a story of my life. I just really struggle with even that imagination.
Wow, I understand that. Probably this terrible heat doesn't help very much either.
Well, actually, I don't care about the heat.
All right. So, tell me what's going on between you and your mom on a deeper level.
Well, we're just trying to work together more, and I'm just, although I'm pushing, for me I am pushing, and I feel like maybe I feel entitled, and so I don't want to feel that, and so I have a guilt sense about all of this, but my mom wants me to do this, and she likes it when I'm happy, and but also she has been going through some other physical issues, and so we've been trying to work together to get those taken care of. And she lost another sister, and so her nieces and nephews have become a part of her life now, and more so than before. And so she's got more interaction with different people on the phone, and even some are occasionally stopping by. So that's good. But she recently fell and
Oh, no.
and got an infection from that. But I think she's managing to we're managing to keep that under control.
Wow, what a exciting time this must be.
Well, I don't know about excitement,
Well,
but
you-
it's just
You're right. This wasn't the correct word. Perhaps I just feel so deeply for your family. She lost her sister, which is your aunt. Then she's had to go into the hospital recently. Wow. How many more things are you supposed to have to tackle?
well, I guess you to keep going. I feel like this is I don't have many opportunities, and so I try to look at it positively, and I try to think that my mom wants this, and so we're just gonna do this for a year, and I just don't know what I can do in a year, but it's something. It'll be a year, and although I've had a studio like this before, I've just really struggled with my emotions and people for those reasons that you've interviewed me for, and so here I'm going again, and I have the same art, a little bit more developed, but I still have those same problems. So it's just mom has all of these things, and they're very important in life, stages of life, and so these other issues, I don't know how important they are, but they're what I have. So
Well, they're
that's
important
kinda
to
how
you.
it is. Yeah, they're important to me.
Well, let me summarize a little bit. You and your mom are working much better right now in terms of her caretaking, your caretaking of her, and getting your work out by getting a new studio, which is tremendous news. That's breakthrough kind of stuff. Let me ask you, as you see yourself as the hero of your own existence and your own life, and you're making breakthroughs in getting back into the art community like you want so much to do, is that basically the path that you see is what's going to bring you the deepest happiness?
Well, that's been my hope, or that's been the type of life that all of the ideas in art are ideas that I love, and so there maybe other people don't really care about them, but for me they are important, and so just doing that, just being in that arena is makes me feel like at least I'm persisting and I'm trying, and
Right.
that's enough. That's all.
Well, if they're important to you, they're extremely important. That's what life is kind of all about, isn't it? Following.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Do you have goals other than taking care of your mom, being back into the art community? What other personal goals do you have? Do you have any personal or financial or spiritual goals that you're
You
considering?
mean at this point in my life?
Right. Because you seem, just observing you, to be a very spiritual person. You seem very close to your higher power or God, and you also seem very committed to being the best person you can be in a larger community, larger than the art community.
Well, I've always wanted to have a relationship, a relationship with um, a man. Um, I guess you would call it a husband, like most normal people. And I wanted to go through my life with a husband. And so, but
So
that's been very, it's how do you meet anyone,
if
and
that's the
then,
goal, do you do things like, I mean, this sounds corny, but in your church, do you have some singles groups, or do you ever consider like just checking out Match.com or something silly like that? What
well,
steps
in
do
my
you take?
church there are no singles group, and it's actually not. It's a funny thing. I was reading about singles and the church, and it's like it's a negative. You're looked down on if you're single, like you don't have some kind of ability or something, and to like you're not the good Christian. And as far as Match.com, yeah, I've looked at it, and I get to a certain point, and then I've got to pay money for it, and I just can't. I mean, it's just such a superficial way, and these questions they ask are just I just don't. And some people have told me that it's a good way to meet people, but as soon as I have to pay that money from my credit card, I don't think so.
Oh, that's very practical of you. Um, how is your hope level? Because a couple times ago you were talking about how you just didn't have any hope. Sounds like today you have a lot more hope.
Well, I guess I've been trying to get more realistic and more just
Good.
get those inside things that make you happy. Just the fact that you're trying, just trying. And, you know, what is the deal about selling something anyway? I guess it's that you get reinforcement. That would be the best thing. Somebody likes your work enough to give you some money for it. So that's a good thing. But other than that, I don't know, of course, making art on a scale like that where you have enough to sell and for people to have choices is huge, and the energy required is huge, and that is just a little bit out of my league because I'm trying to take care of my mom, and my family has some other things going on, and so
Right.
it just seems like for me it's just being able the fact of being able to show the work that I have out and see what people say, and creating a dialogue and maybe pulling in people together based on that art could be a fun thing. And so who knows what socially that would do. I mean, a lot of parties or just talks and stuff, maybe poetry readings, and so it's hard to imagine everything that could happen. How would you know?
That all sounds wonderful. And don't you even have a little goal of selling, maybe you would think you could sell 2 or 3 works of art by the end of the year. What would you say to that?
I would say, wow, I would love that. And I
Do you
have
think that's a reasonable, realistic goal?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, what do you think would be a realistic goal? Even if you
I don't
set
know,
your
because
goal,
my personality gets in the way, because I'm not a good salesperson, or see, I'm already talking that way, so I'm not relaxed, I'm not funny, I'm not just a storyteller, and so if I were to change that whole statement, I would need to be very charismatic and positive and wonderful, and there's no end to my joy, and to sell the artwork, and so I'm just taking care of my mother, and she's going through all these issues, and my brother and my family has some issues, and blah blah blah.
Let me use just a little self-disclosure here. Everything you were saying made so much sense except for, and you even are aware of it, so accept the fact you're doing it and take action to end some of the negative self-talk. When I heard myself, when I listened carefully to things that I was saying about myself, like, I'm never going to be a success, or I'm not going to, if you put that energy out there, that's probably what.
Well, those are those patterns I was telling you about that I'm carrying forward from my childhood.
So how about that as a goal? Use not only selling some works of art, I am going to sell some works of art, but I am going to be a more positive person. I am going to represent myself in a more positive way. I have an assignment for you. Before next time we meet, I want you every day at a certain point in time, to write down 10 things that you're grateful for. Make a gratitude list of 10 things, because you have so much that's really wonderful about yourself. And I'm trying to empower you to be the best person you can be. And you certainly are a wonderful person, and you're taking care of your mom, you're getting back in the art community, and I'm really proud of you.
Well, I guess I don't really understand what you mean by the grateful. I'm very grateful that I have an apartment, and I'm very grateful now that I have this studio. I don't see how that's going to help me sell.
Let's work on that. I believe you can.
I just don't understand how your perspective of the grateful list will help me. So that will be a very enlightening thing.
I believe it will, and I thank you for coming in. And I'll tell you, I think that we're making progress each time we meet. We've set some goals for you, and we're going to try to manifest those goals in reality. So until next time, thank you so kindly for visiting, and stay positive. Always a pleasure seeing you, Miss Alex. Thank you.
It's a pleasure seeing you too, Bart.